Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about nostalgic makeup. It's not just you, me, and my caboodle here. Today's video is a collaboration with my friend Erika Tesla. Erika and I actually became friends over on Instagram. She has a fantastic Instagram page. She does lots of swatches, and she also focuses on a lot of brands that I don't focus on. So she's such a great person that I recommend you follow. If you're interested in Viseart or Kylie Cosmetics or Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath. Now she and I have a lot of brands in common that we both like as well, but she really puts her focus on some of those brands, just like a little bit bougier than me. She has a lot of high-end stuff that she likes. She's a great person to follow no matter what, but specifically if you're looking for a good reliable resource to talk about some of those brands that you don't hear about as much over here on my channel, definitely check out her Instagram and her YouTube channel. She has such a gentle, soothing voice too. That's what I really like about watching her YouTube videos. In this YouTube landscape where there are a lot of channels that are very loud and over the top and yelling at you, maybe my experience is also a little tainted by the fact that my kid watches a lot of kids YouTube and they yell so much over there. But Erika's channel is so just soothing and steady, and her voice is so calm. I listen to her videos while I'm cooking or while I'm doing something like that, and I just feel like a friend is sitting there in the kitchen talking to me while I prepare dinner. Everybody needs that in their life, and you can get that from Erika's channel. Many months ago, probably close to a year ago now, I posted an Instagram reel talking about nostalgic makeup and saying that I wanted to make a YouTube video revisiting some of my makeup memories from when I was a tween and teen. And Erika responded to that really quickly because she and I are of a similar age, that late 30s, early 40s age range. We were coming into that getting interested in makeup part of life at the same time, really. So when I asked her if she would collaborate with me this December, that really seemed like a natural fit because it was something that we had talked about previously, and I never really found the footing for that video at the time. So what I want to do is step back in time a little bit, explore some of the very first makeup products that I encountered in those tween teen years, throw it back to this vintage caboodle. This is the original vintage caboodle of my life. Part of it is just fun to see how things have changed, how trends have evolved, and some things have come back into style because that Y2K trend is really happening now, which is funny because I lived that the first time around. I love seeing that trend come back. I'm sure a lot of people are made to feel old by that, but I think it's cool. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see people putting their own take, their own spin on these older trends. In that same vein of thinking, I want to take some of these nostalgic makeup products and I want to try to use them in a more updated way to create a look that I would actually want to wear now, because I would not want to go back to some of those old looks. A couple things to keep in mind before I crack open the caboodle and you see what's actually in here and what we're going to be using today. Makeup was not so crazy and popular. The beauty boom had not happened yet. Obviously, cosmetics were available, there was drugstore, there was high-end, but it wasn't like it is now. There is so much more choice. There's so much more access. There are many more brands. Obviously, trends are different. Obviously, people are shopping differently because there wasn't really much online shopping then. And my personal style has changed a lot. I was for sure a mall kid. While I did experiment with makeup, beauty products, and whatnot back then, I was in no way glamorous. I was definitely not preppy. I have been wearing Sublime t-shirts this whole time. Like, that was me then. I was definitely part of that sparkly backpack from Claire's to buying band tees, emo kid at Hot Topic pipeline. If you know, then you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Somewhere in between was Pacific Sunwear. So my experience was very not glamorous. So with all that being said, let's take a look at this caboodle and let's dive into some nostalgic makeup. This caboodle has been through so many decades with me. I can't tell you how happy this makes me. I know it's just a thing, and it's probably not good for my pack rat tendencies to actually be putting this to use after all these years, because you know that mentality of like, someday I'll use it, and here I am using it. But I want to show you what would have been inside here aside from just tons of nail polish. First and foremost, I was a lip smacker girl. I had so many lip smackers. You gotta have, you know, your little tiny baby clips. I had many of those, butterflies, daisies, little plain ones like this that have stood the test of time. But I had stacks and stacks of smacks. And Dr. Pepper was the #1 most important, most repurchased, and also most likely to go into my current day purse now because of this video. I did keep plenty of other lip products. The #1 thing I would be likely to splurge on and actually spend money on would be a lip gloss. So Juicy Tubes are iconic. The Victoria's Secret ones for sure were very popular. Not necessarily for me, but I remember other girls in high school loving those. And drugstore was the main thing for me. I was not shopping at MAC. I was not going to Sephora. I was hitting up the drugstore aisles, and I remember having a silver lipstick. This is a new one, but I had one from Wet n Wild that I just thought I was like the queen bee. I had tons of nail polish. I've always liked painting my own nails, so I definitely did that back in the day. You had to have blue, you had to have black. Those were like the quintessential colors for me. And these little tiny, not even really mini palettes, but little eyeshadow duos and trios were the jam for me. That and liquid eyeshadow was really the bulk of what I was wearing. And I definitely had this exact blush. These CoverGirl Cheekers blush, I think a lot of people were really into these, and obviously they still are, because look, I just purchased this brand new blush and it's still out here. It's still rocking, and I am gonna put this brush to use later. I was never a big eyeliner girl. A lot of people were. I wasn't, but I was really into jumbo pencils. I didn't have this exact NYX one, but I had a bunch of these, and they were sort of my version of a primer back in the day. And of course, Great Lash. I feel like everybody had Great Lash. Now we gotta get to some more fun stuff down here, because let's talk about a signature scent, okay? Warm vanilla sugar or cucumber melon. It was all Bath and Body Works. And did you know Bath and Body Works used to have makeup too? I was definitely splurging on some Bath and Body Works makeup. I know I had their powder. I also had one of their lip glosses that I was obsessed with, but they don't make cosmetics anymore. Of course, because I was a drugstore makeup girl, I also had some really cheap little brush sets like this Claire's one I just showed you. The only thing I wore on my face was just a plain powder like this, which goodness knows why, because I've always had drier skin. So I think I just felt like this was the only manageable option for me, because I didn't really want to mess with foundation and I was intimidated by foundation and concealer, but powder felt more manageable for me. And then liquid eyeshadows were everywhere. Again, these are new products. I wouldn't put my old makeup on my face. I don't even have it anymore. It's not safe to do that. But I tried to just get things that were reminiscent or, you know, close enough. And I was always a Hello Kitty girl. I would definitely have this little Hello Kitty mirror. I wasn't exactly combing my hair with it, but it was more of like a touch-ups and just a cute thing. I was always into cute, kitschy stuff, and I still kind of am. So I honestly love that I still have this Hello Kitty mirror. And now that you've seen everything in my caboodle, let's put some of this on my face, because I think it's going to be fun to give it a try. Can we just take a spin with this Dr. Pepper Lip Smacker. It does have a little tint to it, doesn't it? Oh, it smells like waxy memories. You know which other one I've loved, and I went hard for the pink lemonade. And I also had a gloss. They had an actual tube of Lip Smacker gloss that was super sparkly and white, and it was this birthday cake flavor, and I loved that. And I bet I was just a glittery mess. That was really my makeup style at that time, was just like messy and glitter. Definitely what I would have done is I would have just taken this face powder, not really caring whether or not it actually matched me, and I would have just put it all over my face indiscriminately, and I would have looked probably the wrong shade and definitely really powdery. I know it's kind of the running joke that when you're young you have to have the wrong foundation shade on, and I feel like, you know, I wasn't wearing foundation at all, but I was definitely wearing powder for some reason, and it probably didn't shade match very well. This actually isn't that bad though. So I think what I'm gonna do to bring this into modern day, make it a little bit more in line with my personal style, is I'm gonna use a moisturizing primer all over the face first, and I'm gonna add a little bit of skin tint, and then I'm gonna go in with the powder on top to add coverage, but I don't wanna be a dusty mess like I was in the early 2000s. Now I'm gonna add some coverage with this face powder. This is from Physicians Formula. It's the shade Creamy Natural. Let's just see what happens. Hopefully this doesn't look like a dry mess. You can really tell the difference. Look at that shine. And this gave some coverage too. This is actually not bad. I'm sure their shade range is abysmal, but the product itself actually looks way better than I thought it was going to. Now I am going to update my look, but I'm going to try not to stray too far away. So that's why I didn't add concealer, because I never wore concealer back then. All I would do was the powder. So I'm trying to stay close to the original look, but just bring it up to where I'm at now. Along those same lines, I did literally nothing for my eyebrows for the longest time, not until I was in my 20s. So I'm just gonna do a clear brow gel, because I definitely would not have filled them in, but I think this is a good compromise to keep them in place. And just do a little something. I already got some pretty thick brows, so I can do fine with just gel. I just need them to stay in their place at least a little bit. Even gel, really, they still kind of go wherever they want to go, but this is an improvement. All right, let's add some color to the face. This is the CoverGirl Cheekers Blush in the shade Rose Silk. This is updated packaging, but I think I had this exact shade name and everything, and I would for sure use this little brush to apply it. And what I would do was I would just put some on there, and I would put it like right here, just right here, and it didn't look good. Let's just see how this brush works. I'm gonna try it. Is it on there? There we go, we're getting a little bit of color. So I'm gonna pull this back a little bit and give a little bit more structure to my blush placement, more in line with what I would wear now. This color is actually really cute. It has a little sheen to it. I like it. Let's bring this one back. I mean, it never left. Look, it's obviously, a lot of these things are still around. I was able to find some of the exact same things or very, very similar. That looks cute. Let's do a little bit on my nose. I never would have done that, but you know, we're updating. Do just kind of over that. There we go. I think that honestly looks good. I think this is cute. I don't love the brush, but the product's good. Okay, here's the deal next. The eye products that I have are really just similar things to what I would have had. So I didn't have these exact products, but I had things like this. The vibe was very much a jumbo pencil, a liquid eyeshadow. I had these liquid eyeshadows I was obsessed with. I can't even find pictures of them anywhere online, but they were in like these little plastic squeezy tubes. A squeezy tube like this where you twist the top off and then you squeeze the product out. They were definitely drugstore. I feel like they were CoverGirl maybe. I don't really remember. But they were like this but smaller, and that was my jam. So I wanted to find a drugstore super sparkly metallic liquid eyeshadow. Now they're mostly in this format with the wand. I wish that I could have gotten my hands on those because that was my go-to look. I would take a jumbo pencil, put it all over my lid, and then take some of that metallic liquid eyeshadow and just go right on top. And it was jarring, and it was probably not the most flattering thing I could have done. The other thing that was really big, these little teeny tiny either duo or trios. Big eyeshadow palettes were not something that I saw personally. I'm sure that they existed, but really this was what was popular, at least amongst my peers and myself, were these little either duos or trios, and they were always pretty bland, bland colors, more sheer type of application, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I would take the little sponge tip eyeshadow applicator and I would take one of the darker shades and put it like as if it were eyeliner because I didn't own eyeliner. So what I want to do is kind of take some of these products and some of those techniques and maybe just update them a little bit into a look that's more in line with something that I would like to wear now. So we're going to give it a shot. I don't know how that's going to go, but we're going to try it. This is totally the type of brushes that I had too. These are from Eco Tools and I love these. But I would have had a little set of drugstore dual-ended brushes and that I would have never cleaned and that I would have never known how to actually use. The pigmentation is lackluster. I guess we probably expected that though, huh? Okay, could be worse, could be worse. Let's see if we can get a little base going. Maybe we can get some better color payoff if I get a little white base going here. I wore a lot of silver and a lot of soft, shimmery baby pink, which are definitely not my go-to colors now. Okay, I know you're gonna think I am crazy, but what if I use some of this lipstick? This is Revlon's Iced Mocha. I feel like everybody of the late 90s, early 2000s, this was an it color. I see people talking about what is an it color, a 90s it color, you know, kind of extrapolated today since the 90s Y2K style has come back around. But this was it. You can tell, and she's got some staying power too because you can still buy Iced Mocha. Now look at that. I added a little depth to the look. Not sure it's my best work, but you know, it's coming along. You gotta get creative sometimes. I think it looks okay. It probably wouldn't last all day, but you know what? For today's purposes, I feel like it's not bad. It's not the best eyeshadow that I've worn, but sadly, I do think it's better than what I used to wear in the early 2000s. It could be worse. It really could be worse. Let's try my little eyeshadow as eyeliner trick. Maybe that'll help add a little structure. I still do this, by the way. This smudge eyeshadow as my eyeliner. I still do that look all the time. Or that technique, I should say. The blendability is non-existent. I bet these are just right for somebody. I feel like this is just not really in line with what I'm looking for anymore. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, let's see if we can add a little bit of this liquid eyeshadow sparkle to the inner corner, and maybe we can add a little pizzazz that way, because she is not really doing it for me right now. Okay, all right, we're getting somewhere now. We're getting somewhere now. I think I'm gonna try to add some of this silvery eyeshadow to the center of the lid. It does seem to have an appearance, which is an improvement over some of the other shadows I've used. Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad. Maybe I should have started with these cooler tones. Try to put a little bit of this darker one on the outer over that iced mocha shade. Okay, all right. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh, that's better, don't you think? Added a little bit of shine, a little bit of pizzazz. Love that for me. Now, another way for me to update is to curl my lashes before applying mascara. I definitely never used to curl my lashes. I would just go straight in with mascara. Top lashes only, of course. Curling my lashes and adding mascara to my lower lashes is how I'm going to update my mascara application. I think this is one of the most recognizable mascaras. Everybody I know either used this or their mom used it or they used it because their mom used it. And that was 100% me. This was the first mascara I ever saw in my life because it's what my mom used. You know what? She's still around. She's still going strong. You can still buy a brand new bottle of Maybelline Great Lash. And I have to say, these products that you can still get the exact same thing. I mean, this has barely even changed packaging in all these years. Those are really iconic products. I have so much respect for that because the beauty landscape changes so rapidly and so often. The fact that some of these products are still favored is really impressive. And you know what? This mascara is really good. It's not my favorite style of brush, but I can see why this is so well loved, and it's not super expensive. It's really recognizable. It makes my lashes more lengthened and separated, so it definitely has a really natural appearance on the eye, which I think is appealing to a lot of people. That's probably what the goal and the comfort zone of a lot of consumers. Okay, but this is actually pretty cute. I find it to be passable for sure. Now, I'm very torn between these two incredibly iconic lip colors. Of course, Revlon's Iced Mocha, which I used on my eyes, or the Lancome Juicy Tube. This one's in the shade Tickled Pink. I think I might wear both. Let's just try this one on first, and then I can always put some gloss on top. This is such a 90s look. A little sheer, a little frosty, cool toned brown, and I bet this is like a perfect nude on a lot of people. If you have a deeper skin tone, then this could be a great little nude shade. It has mass appeal, I get it. I'm gonna try a little bit of this Juicy Tube on top because I need it to be more glossy. For my look, I would have for sure had gloss on, although it probably would have been sparkly and horrible. These two shades together made kind of a cute little plummy berry look. You know what? I like it. It's not gonna be my go-to look, but it turned out way better than I thought it was going to. This is still a little bit more pared down and a little bit more neutral than what I prefer to wear for my day-to-day, but I think it really is a nice balance between what my nostalgic makeup look really looked like and what I like to wear today. So I think that we kind of nailed it with this challenge. This has been a really fun walk down memory lane for me. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but I can safely say that this caboodle is probably close to 30 years old, if not actually 30 years old. Here we are, and I hope that I am revisiting my nostalgic makeup in another 30 years. Coming back to my ColourPop palettes and casually sweaty cheeks. Probably still wearing the same t-shirt though. I'm really excited to see what direction Erika goes with her nostalgic makeup, and I'm excited to see what types of products she uses, how much nostalgic makeup overlap we have. She is such a genuinely kind, sweet person. I really enjoy her. I really highly recommend her channel and her Instagram page to you. Those will be linked in the description box. So make sure you go say hi to her, go show her video some love, go give her a follow. Now's the time when I want to hear what your nostalgic makeup products are, whether you are my age, older, younger, or maybe you're from a different part of the country, a different part of the world. Maybe you were part of a friend group that had totally different trends. I think it's so interesting and often very valuable to go back and visit these nostalgic moments, not just for the warm and fuzzies, but you know, you can also reflect on how much you've changed, how much you've been through. I've changed through being about 3 different people since this caboodle was first cracked open, and I'm thankful for all of those different versions. Some were better than others, but that path that we've been on led us here, and I think that's pretty awesome. So I would love to hear about your nostalgic makeup favorites. Maybe you didn't get into makeup until you were older. That's okay too. I wish that I had gotten into skincare earlier than I did, so you know, there's always time. And I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Oh man, I feel like I could do some great ASMR with this caboodle. Future video ideas. Early 2000s caboodle ASMR. That's the niche. That's the niche the internet's been waiting for. Ay, ay, ay. Oh! I'm fine. I hope I can find that picture. There's a picture of me painting my sister's nails with this because I used to have this full of nail polish and they were all like pink, pearlescent pink, and coral, and like red. I had a couple of more kooky colors. They were all from Wet n Wild. I would always get the kooky colors from Wet n Wild. Oh, and those hard candies. Of course, you had to have the pastel blue. You had to. And then the black nail polish was like really edgy. Like I said, you know, was a Hot Topic girl, so edgy was my middle name. Really? Because I wore band t-shirts and, you know, shoelaces that had little red stars on them. Oh boy. I loved the mall. I'm kind of sad that malls are dying / are dead. Because I had wonderful teenage times hanging out there, buying cheap food, hanging out with my friends. That's where we met people because we didn't want to just hang out with people from my school. I went to a kind of smaller school. My graduating class was less than 300 people. So that was the place to like meet kids from other schools and other like surrounding towns. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. All right, that wraps it up. Did you hang out at the mall? Did you also eat Auntie Anne's pretzels? And I loved that chicken teriyaki Sarku Japan. Double meat, extra sauce every time. I would eat that right now. Right now. Every once in a while I do order that and then I text my best friend a picture because we were best friends when we were teenagers and we're still best friends now, which is awesome. She's the coolest person ever. And I'm lucky that I still get to be best friends with her, and I'm lucky that I got to split my chicken teriyaki with her all those years ago. I think it was my junior year. I wore a Sublime Ringer t-shirt in my junior year photos. I think it was junior year. Maybe senior year. No, it was junior year because senior year photos you had to take those like goofy formal ones. And I had a bunch of necklaces on, but they were hemp necklaces and those big ball chain necklaces. And you know what? I stand by that look at the time. Easy for me to say because what I wear now isn't really that much of a departure from what I was wearing 20 years ago. You know, that whole spiel about growth. Seems a little ironic now. It's cool. It all comes back around. Because I bought this recently. I'll try to find those pictures because it's pretty funny. Anyway, I hope this was fun. It took a really long time to film because I kept wandering down so many different memory lanes, and that was a good time. I'll edit some of it out, don't worry. But the whole point is, regardless of what makeup you did love or do love or never wore, I don't care how old you are or where you're from or what you wore, all I do care about is that I love your face and I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for hanging out. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye!